Gotta get through this intro. Hi! I'm so glad you're here. This week is Valentine's Day, and I was gonna make another Valentine's Day dress, but I didn't want to do that again, because I did that last year. I made this dress, which you can watch here. And even though I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day, I love the aesthetic of Valentine's Day, particularly vintage Valentine's Day. So I started looking online for some vintage Valentine's Day inspiration to see if there was anything I wanted to recreate, or if there was like a trend at any point in time that I wanted to try. And in my search, I found this. And I just thought it was really cute. I love this cute, goofy little hat with a bird on it. So I think I'm gonna try to make it. The hat, not the planter. The hat that the planter is wearing. The hat that the planter is wearing. Yeah, that's it. But because the picture is kind of blurry, before I dive into it, I'm gonna draw what I think is going on here on this hat. Maybe add a little bit of my own flair to it. So I am gonna make a sketch first, so I have a plan. So yeah, that's the idea. I'm gonna go get to work. First, I put on my thematically appropriate blue light glasses and started sketching. I tried to just draw what I could see, but it looks like there's something else on top of the hat. It kind of looks black and white, and I have absolutely no idea what it is. The color combo reminded me of little chocolates though, and little chocolates are very Valentine's-y, so I decided that the hat is actually a plate with heart cookies and chocolates on it that this little bird is helping himself to. This old pop box should be big enough for the base of the hat, so I took my compass and drew a circle in the middle. I carefully cut the circle out with a box cutter and popped it out. I considered cutting a hole in the middle for the top of my head to go through, but to keep the plate shape, I decided not to cut it all the way through, and instead I cut away one layer of the cardboard and used my hole puncher just as a hard surface to smush down the corrugated cardboard underneath. Did this end up making a difference at all? Not really, but I had to try it now instead of later after it's all covered with fabric. I'm using some white scraps from a sheet set I bought 3 years ago. I just keep clipping away at it, and it has come in handy so many times. For the ribbon ties, I very scientifically measured the length I wanted and cut it from the leftover blue sheet I used in my dream outfit video. Also using some more of the white fabric, I cut, sewed, and filled a white tube to place around the outside edge of the plate. I hot glued the fabric to the cardboard after considering sewing the layers together, but I think this was the way to go so it didn't shift around while I was working on everything else. To attach the ribbons, I cut a small opening on either side of the center circle, placed a hot glue strip inside, pressed the ribbon into it, and folded the edge over to hide the fraying edges. I finished sewing the tube I made to go around the edge by stitching the open ends together, and it kind of reminded me of this Jim Henson short called Limbo.
That place was a mess.
Which is only slightly nightmare-inducing. I pinned it into place and considered sewing it to the fabric on the plate, but I ended up hot gluing that too, and I don't regret a thing. To make the chocolates, I decided to use even more hot glue and poured it into some chocolate and simple shaped molds. Once those were set, I painted them brown and went back in with a darker brown around the edges to add some depth. The hot glue hearts I made weren't quite large enough to be the ones on the plate, so I decided to make some heart-shaped cookies out of felt and glue. I also made some little jam cookies to go on the plate too, so the heart cookies weren't the only baked good on the plate, and I made them with even more felt and more hot glue. And I'm just now realizing that this hat is like 50% hot glue. After the cookies were done, I moved on to making the bird. I took some foam, sewed it into the general shape of the bird's body, and decided to needle felt some blue felt directly over top of the foam. I did find some blue felting wool that matched the felt sheet perfectly, but I didn't use it in the end. I felted the wings onto the back, added some wire to his wings, hot glued the beak to his little face, and sewed on 2 beads for eyes. Then I went back to the chocolates to add some white chocolate squiggles and other details to the tops. And finally it was time to plate the sweets, and our sweet little bird boy. I laid everything out first to see where I wanted it all to go, and once I had an arrangement I liked, I fixed everything down with, you guessed it, L-U-E. Then I used some more hot glue to add a ribbon and lace trim to the rough edge of the hat, and the reference photo has a couple little spots of red on the edge, and I couldn't tell what that was either, so I just added some red beads to the side and continued the pattern all the way around. Is it perfectly spaced? Absolutely not. I just finished up the beading on this wonky little hat, and that means everything's done, so it's time for the reveal. Love it. It's such a silly, goofy little thing. I don't know why I love it so much. I think making the bird look like the bird on the planter, very plain, very cartoony. Could have been changed, but I do like him quite a bit. I'm glad I added the chocolates. I'm not sure what is behind the hearts in the image. It's not very clear, but one of the hearts does have something on it. And I don't know if that's just normal wear and tear from it being an older piece, or if there's something else on the top of it that I just can't see because of the picture. But I kind of like my take on this bird stealing some sweets from the plate. Nothing really went wrong for the most part, which is a surprise. I thought for sure that attaching the ribbon would be a challenge. I do think if this ribbon were satin, then it wouldn't be as bulky, but I do like how it keeps its shape in the bow, so. But yeah, nothing really went wrong. I like all the little chocolates I made out of hot glue, but now that I'm looking back at it, I think it does kind of billow up in the middle a bit more on the top of the head than mine does. I kept it pretty flat, but I think me turning it into a cookie and sweets platter called for a rim to the plate at the very least, and that's where I ended up doing the beading, which is not even, but it's there. And I wasn't too sure how I was going to make the bluebird either, but he turned out pretty well. Well, he looks like the image, and in that aspect he turned out pretty well. Yeah, I don't know, this was just kind of a fun, crafty project. I know this video is probably going to be quite short, but I hope you had a silly, goofy time watching me make this silly, goofy hat. Oh dear. I am very pleased with how this has come out, and if you like it too, you can let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see what I'm doing next and join the channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to know when I post, hit the notification bell, and YouTube will let you know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!